Hey, this is Sky. Welcome to my YouTube channel. It's Tuesday. I'm in the office taking care of business, paying bills as usual. Mind, body, and soul. This is how we get through. If anybody out there happens to want coaching or mentoring, go to my website, skyazrael.com. Let's talk about our downfall and our rise. Let's first talk about the downfall. These are some things that maybe won't guarantee failure, but will absolutely contribute to your downfall, to your failure. And I remember all of these, and I still work on these. So maybe this is stuff you could work on too. And then we'll talk about your rise and what that might look like. So one of the first areas that came up when I was brainstorming on this was no God, atheism. It doesn't mean that all atheists are unsuccessful. I'm sure you could find lots of very successful, very rich atheists. But when I think about my own downfall and the worst parts of my life, I remember being quite lost spiritually, having no God, no higher power, nothing to worship, nothing to fall in line to, nothing to serve. Meaning and purpose for a man are about service. You find your meaning and purpose in service to others, but you have to start somewhere. And where this starts is you are in service to God. This is my belief system. You can have your own. And I've come to find that a spiritual belief in a higher power, a spiritual practice, gives a man meaning and purpose to his life. Just that alone. Sure, having kids, having a job, there's a lot of things that you could say, well, that gives me meaning and purpose. But it starts with this. You may find that your relationships don't really work out, and it's because you're not in service to God. You may be in service to your woman. So we start there. When we look at our own downfall, we look at our own lack of spirituality, having no God, no one to serve, no meaning and purpose in our lives. When we think about our own downfall, I had to think about vice. Seeking substances for escape from my own mental torture. The daily torture of existence. And existence can feel torturous, meaningless, purposeless, futile when you have no God, when you have no spiritual path, when you have nobody to follow. And it's easy when we're lost to turn to vice, to always seek that escape, the escape from weakness. How strong you feel when you're drunk. How safe and comfortable you feel when you're high. Our downfall can be contributed to our own laziness, unwillingness to make a list and to get things done off that list, unwillingness to be productive, unwillingness to move forward. Did you go look for that job today? No, you sat around, you lazy bum, you're going nowhere. Wishing and wishing and wishing your whole life for some sort of outcome that you never ever get up off your couch to go and look for. Your house may be messy, you may be a mess, your mind, inside your mind may be a complete mess, and it's because you're so lazy you can't clean nothing up. People waste their whole lives away in misery and depression when a lot of it is just laziness. You're a lazy, overgrown, immature child. Now, I was homeless. And the number one reason why people are homeless, the number one reason, I don't care what city you live in, the number one reason why people are homeless in your city is because of drugs. Now, what turns people to the vice? Now, I was homeless and I asked. I did research like Jane Goodall, hiding behind trash cans, taking notes, asking people, what are you here for? Oh, I'm a drug addict. Yeah, but why? I kept asking why. And I was on the streets for the same reason as everybody else. Drugs and women. That's what I'm getting at. Women. Your downfall could be because of a woman. The vast majority of people homeless in the streets are drug addicts because of a bad relationship. This is according to them. That's not my scientific analysis at the end of the study. This is what they say. I became a heroin junkie because my old lady left me. I became a crackhead because my old lady kicked me out of the house. This is 9 out of 10 bums on the streets. A woman could very well be your downfall. Now, I'm not suggesting stay single. I'm pro-family. But stay away from the sluts, the whores, the hoes, these gold diggers, these go-nowhere, do-nothing, dingbat, lefty, pink-haired liberals. Stay away from them. Now, another cause for your own downfall will be your mental illness and your inability to stay on top of it. Mental illness runs rampant in our society. There's lots of people that are mentally ill, and if you're just thinking about somebody rocking back and forth on the subway or, some kind of nut yelling up at, a street light, yeah, sure, that happens. But there's a lot more to mental illness than just those extreme cases that you cherry pick out and say, well, that's not me. There's a lot of mental illness, and if you're not on top of your own mental illness, recognizing it, identifying where your weaknesses are, and then studying and trying to move forward, even if you need to get help with therapy and coaching and all kinds of stuff. I've done all of this. If you're not on top of your mental illness, you will fail in life. You will fall. You will fall. You have to stay on top of it at every step of the way. There's never going to be a point when you're just done. You may find it easier than it used to be. You may need a little reminder instead of a full course. But you'll never be done checking yourself and checking that mentally ill side of you. And the last one that I kind of wrote down on my downfall list, I want to get to the success list, to the rise, how we rise, is no exercise. If you're not exercising, you're not working out, you're not running, you're not jogging, you're not swimming, you're not doing any kind of exercise at all, no exercise in your life, you are begging for a downfall. You're begging for bad health. At some point, you're going to start breaking down, and the rest of us aren't. I've seen guys that are 46 that look like they're in their 80s, and I have no sympathy. It's your own damn fault, you weakling. So let's talk about our rise. What would the rise look like? What are some of the things we could pay attention to with the rise? Well, this is our success. We're talking about our success. In order to be successful, you might have to learn to take risks and chances. And I tell myself, because I'm a comfort zone king, I love my comfort zone. I hate to leave my comfort zone. And I tell myself, I allow myself to take risks and chances. And it's just an affirmation that I remind myself with, to be more of a risk taker. Entrepreneurs are risk takers. That's what being an entrepreneur is. Successful people, business people, even CEOs of big corporations, they know how to take risks. Now, I'm not just telling you to be a daredevil. Go and learn parkour and jump off buildings. You ever seen those idiots do that? I hate watching that stuff. So you might want to learn how to take some more risks and chances in your life. If you want to think about the rise, rising to greatness, your own personal greatness, think about investment. Not only investing money when you have it, when you save it, if you can save it, and that's on the list, we're going to talk about that. But building a business, building anything takes investment. You want a house? That's going to be investment. You want to fix it up? That's going to be more investment. You want to live in your little dream utopia on the most perfect block so you can raise your kid? That's going to take some investment. It's not going to happen by itself. It's not going to fall into your lap. You got to pay to play in this world. You got to spend some money to make some money. If you want to experience your rise and rise to the top, like, who was it? What was that wrestler that said, only the cream rises to the top? Oh, that's such a great little skit. You're going to have some discipline. All the successful people I've ever met in my life, Macho Man Randy Savage, that's the one who said it. All the people that I have recognized as successful in my life, even myself, I've experienced my own success. It's all come from discipline. Discipline will set you free. If you're not disciplined, you're not ready for success. If you can't be self-disciplined, you're not going to see the rise. If you want success, you're going to have to learn how to scale up. Now, this may be more for business people, but it also can be just for successful people in general. You're going to have to learn how to grow. You started off small. You want an empire. It doesn't happen on its own. You got to know how to make those moves and slowly grow. This takes some risk. This takes some investment. And it takes some discipline. If you want to be successful, you're going to have to learn how to read the trends. It doesn't mean to just be trendy. It means to be able to see stuff coming. I've had a hard time with this. I come to the party late. I recognized about 5 years into when I started my motorcycle shop in the year 2001. I recognized that I was late to the party. This was back in 2001. Jesse James had already dropped. He was blowing up, and there was a lot of them that were already blowing up, and they started before me. I was homeless. I was on the streets. I was running with gangs when they were starting their motorcycle shops. I was completely fucked up when they weren't trying to get investment, trying to be disciplined, trying to see how they could grow. I wasn't. I was still in the dirt. I realized, wow, if I would have just figured this out a couple years earlier, I would have had my timing right. And that's the next one, and that's one of the points of success, is having good timing. Successful people have good timing. Sometimes timing is everything. If you want to experience your rise in life, you want to rise above it all, you're going to have good networking skills. You're going to have to learn how to be good at networking. Be good at socializing. Have some good social skills. And I've been working on this. I'm not a social butterfly. My brother is. I generally don't like people. I'm learning to change that. You see this Rolodex behind me? That's old school. Most people keep their numbers in their phone. I keep a Rolodex. I have that Rolodex full of business cards of people that I've met over the last 25 years in business. Name something. Name anything. I got a guy for that. I'll call him right now and be like, yo, this is Sky. Learn to network. If you want to be successful, if you want to experience the rise in your life, I mentioned this, we're going to have to learn how to save money. It's not enough just to make money. It's not enough just to spend money, to make investments. Oh, you think you're so smart with all your investments. No, you're going to have to learn to save it, to take that cash and put it somewhere and stack it up. You should always, a man should always have a few $1,000s in the bank for emergencies, a few grand. If you don't have that right now, you're not doing it. I wouldn't say you're very successful. You need to stack up some cash and put it for a rainy day. And the final one really kind of adds to what we're talking about as far as saving money. But you don't want to cut corners in your life. So it's one thing to save money, but you don't want to be living, say, without air conditioning in the summertime. Have AC. Have the best AC system they make, and it'll last you a long time. If you have to spend a lot and invest in it, and be disciplined to save that money up so you can spend that, then do that. I'm just coming up with a scenario, but don't cut corners to your success. So this is all just food for thought. If anybody wants to carry on this conversation further, you can contact me.